Good morning, noon, evening or night, depending when you're watching this video. My name is Alegende and welcome back to World of Tanks and the NBTT Replay series, where we feature the best replay of the NBTT clan for each patch. And this patch, it's me, my progetto. Probably not a lot of replays were published on WoT replays this patch, so because of that I most of the time just put one of mine in there, so we have at least one game every patch. It's a bit of a cheaty thing, but hey, well, otherwise you got nothing. And it is still a quite decent battle here on Safe Haven. Actually one of my new favorite maps, because you have multiple angles where you can engage the flanks in, and you have that lovely bunker in the middle which acts as a very nice and safe passageway in order to reposition, well, quite effectively, especially in this medium. You will see in just a moment. But for now, going towards this flank, the medium flank, and getting off some early shots at the Judas you saw just a moment ago. Some very good decision right here at the beginning, getting multiple shots off and receiving almost no damage in return. However, I still play a little bit careful, because I still don't know every bit of corner or angle I can get fired at, so because I've been surprised on this map multiple times before, so I'm playing somewhat careful. However, now I realize that this position is no longer useful. Most of the tanks are at long distances from different angles, so let's find another angle and deal some more damage. And after that engagement, I realized that my attention can be better directed back to the middle, since a quite isolated 110 is now pushing, and when I'm engaging back at the flank of the JK line, I will probably get outspotted and get shot at multiple times, and especially when I'm pushing further down that line. So redirecting my attention towards a flank which is the most safe to engage, but also the most effective, since I don't get shot in return. And you see, the moment I return fire at the JK line, I get punished for it by a shot from, again, that angle. That's specifically that corner, K0, K9, is such a weird corner. I am not getting used to it at all. So that is also making this map quite interesting. So in this game you see me using the auto reloader in multiple ways, sometimes firing only one shot and sometimes firing all three shots. At that 110 I did fire all three of my shots, because I would pull back and wait for a little while, and it was a big chance that he was back into cover in no time. Firing all your three shots is something that you really have to restrict doing in your progetto. Only fire your final shot if you know you're either going to kill an enemy tank, or you pull back and wait for a little bit longer anyway in order to get the heat off your back. But right now I'm again relocating and fully engaging the Barask in the middle. I know that he is a potential one clip for me when I ram him. Yeah, you thought I was mistaken right there, but I know the capabilities of the progetto. Either way, he would fire 2 times anyway, and he would still do this amount of damage, and I would still have my extra shots reloaded right now. So I knew that I would get rid of this Barask. And this is a very important kill, because right now I took control of the central position, and this allows me in this great map to get multiple flanks off in a quite safe location. Engaging that Tiger 2 with all 3 of my shots. Again, not a usual time to fire all 3 of your shots. However, I thought that in that time the Tiger or ISM would have aimed for me, so I would have retreated anyway. So that's why I did fire all 3 of my shots, even though the I could fire one extra shot if I just waited a little bit longer. But, well, then I would only have taken 2 shots and maybe then he would redirect his attention. Right now it's a potential 1 shot, unfortunately low rolls. So I didn't kill that ISM, but you saw already again redirecting his fire back at me, so I needed to retreat again. And retreat I can do very effectively in this position. Now there's always the risk of getting another enemy tank entering the bunker from a different angle, especially from their dry docks on the side of the enemy team. But luckily that doesn't happen, so I'm allowed to roam free for a little longer. I really want to try get around the spotting of this, the proxy spot range of this UDES. Because the proxy spot, since you have multiple layers, it's not actually a sphere. If you make the circle on the 2D map into 3D, it's more like a cylinder. So it doesn't matter if he is at the far range of my proxy spot, the circle would come down and I will be spotted anyway. So I try to avoid the UDES, his spotting cylinder. And when I see him relocate a little bit outside, I take my chance to reposition again and get some other flanking shots off against that tiger too. After getting rid of the tiger, it is engaging the tanks on top of the bunker with a slight eye towards the Object 252U. I wait for the UDES a little bit before he does peek. Well, before he rushes in, allowing me to get 2 shots off, and afterwards he gets destroyed by the Liberté. So I'm now reloading the APC rounds because I'm very low on my regular AP. I can fire all 3 shots at once and then I would automatically switch, but when the situation comes up when I only have to fire 1 round, well, I'm left with only 2 rounds for, well, without a 3rd one getting reloaded, so that's not that handy. So that's why I wanted to make sure that even if I fire 1 round, I still can get my full clip back. So searching the artillery doesn't really... He isn't in that position anymore. Oh, was he even in that position? I can actually look back, because I have been shot at by the artillery. Instant replay. Yeah, he is away. He is at the height of his base, so it wasn't that wrong for me to think he was at A0. But after a while he does get spotted and I almost get my final shot off. I didn't, but we still win and I still did nearly 5,000 damage. So let's look at the post-game results and see what this will give us. So a nearly 5,000 damage game isn't enough for an ace tanker. Well, it's the Progetto 46 after all, so not a big surprise right there. This tank is quite strong and people are playing excellent in it. I did get the high caliber and the tank sniper as well for being able to hit several shots at long distances. Experience wise, it also isn't that quite impressive, because this wasn't a tier 9 or tier 10 battle, but when this is pretty much the only replay being uploaded, well, it suffices, and it's, well, not a bad amount of base experience. And at last, some nice profit, since I didn't fire any premium rounds except for that one at the very end. So why was this battle still so effective in the Progetto? Well, some of the key elements was knowing when to reposition. In a medium tank, this is such an important skill to have. Realizing when you are no longer useful at a certain flank, you can quickly relocate because you have some mobility and reposition towards another flank where you are more effective. You saw me doing that when I relocated my attention back to the middle towards that 110 and eventually even going all the way into the middle. Speaking of which, also recognizing the tank in the central position, the Bourrasque, and replacing it was a key decision on making this battle almost a guaranteed win. Although I could have been pushed at any time, I still took the risk and got heavily rewarded for it with multiple flanking fire shots at a relative safe location on all of those heavy tanks and allowing my team to win that flank. The engaging enemies from those different angles from that reclaimed central position allowed my team to gain the upper hand. And we still managed to win the JK line as well without my help. So things to look out for. It was still quite a risky play for me. I did become a one-shot when engaging that Bourrasque, but I found it a too important of a position to leave alone. And sometimes, well, really have to take those risks. I did check the minimap in order for me to make sure that no other enemy tanks are right there. You can never be 100% sure, but most of the time enemy tanks are, well, very secluded to their particular flank. They are not really relocating that often, even the medium tanks. But, well, maybe after watching this video, more and more people will do this or try this at least. So with that, this is the end of this video. Hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. Laters!